All right, guys, let's go over slope. So this is a review from algebra for the most part. So let's look at this. All right, so slope. Slope is going to be defined as the rise. Uh-oh, what did I do, y'all? You know, sometimes my pen likes to work and sometimes it doesn't. The rise and fall of a line, and our formula, dude, I don't know what's happening here. There we go. Formula is gonna be m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, so 2. Well, this is also referred to as rise over run. All right, Pythagorean's theorem. All right, so this is a relationship between the, y'all. Okay, let's try that. Between the three sides of a right triangle. All right, and the formula for this is going to be, I so spelled that wrong, didn't I? Y'all, I am not multitasking well today. Could be just because I'm old and I'm tired. All right, formula. So I'm going to change colors based on a couple of things. So we have a squared. We're going to keep the b, the plus sign. B, I'm going to put in red. And then, and you'll see why in just a second, because I want you to distinguish between the parts of this. So let me switch. I need black. There we go. Oh, that is not black now, is it? Let's try this again. I need that color. I don't know what. Okay, we're just gonna. We'll do it in green. All right. There's my right triangle, right? So I had A, I had B, and I had C. So A and B are both legs. Let me switch back to green. So this is a leg, A is a leg, B is a leg, and C is the hypotenuse. Okay, so those are the parts of the formula. So it doesn't matter if A or B goes first as long as the legs are on one side of the equal sign and the hypotenuse is on the other side of the equal sign. Okay, all right, so types of slope. Y'all, I apologize. My dogs are coming in and out of the house. Types of slope, we have uphill or positive, downhill, which is negative, horizontal, which has a slope of 0, and then vertical is a slope that is undefined. Okay, so those are the 4 types. Remember to, let's put this over here, that our formula, so y equals mx plus b, and remember that m is slope and b is the y-intercept. Okay, parallel versus perpendicular. So remember that for parallel slopes, those are going to be the same. Perpendicular slopes are going to be opposite reciprocals. All right. So an example of this is going to be y equals 3x plus 4, and we want to find the parallel and the perpendicular slope. So remember our equation is y equals mx, let me make this bigger so I can type, plus b, b, not 4, plus b, So if I'm looking, this 3 then is in that spot of the m. So m is going to be 3. If it's parallel, remember we said they have to be the same. So my parallel slope is going to be 3. Perpendicular slope, opposite reciprocals. Opposite first, so we'll do perpendicular. I'm just going to put perp in. All right. Opposite, meaning if it's positive to start, opposite would be negative. If it's negative to start, opposite would be positive. My 3 is positive, so this would be negative. Okay? Reciprocals, meaning that if my slope is 3, then I can always put a whole number over 1. So 3 divided by 1 is still 3, right? And I'm not changing the value of that. But when I flip it, when I make the reciprocals, I'm taking this and I'm flipping it. So if it's 3 over 1, it becomes 1 over 3. 1 over 3. So if I had a slope of, say, I don't know, 3/4, its perpendicular slope would be negative 4 over 3. So I'm taking the opposite value, so it was positive, it becomes negative. And then I'm taking that fraction and I'm flipping it. So if I have a negative 2, if I was to make that a perpendicular slope, it's negative. When I make the perpendicular, it becomes positive. And I'm taking that 2 and making it 1 over 2 because I'm going to remember that those can be fractions. Okay? Let's look at the next page. All right, page 2. It says write the equation of a parallel and the equation of a perpendicular line. All right, so I'm going to use this point here and this point here as my points that I'm using to find slope, right? So m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I got to have my slope in order to find those. So this becomes 3, which is this 3 right here, minus a negative 1. So I've taken that 1, that negative 1 that's right there. 2 minus 0. So I have 3 plus 1 over 2, which is 4 over 2. So my m is 2. All right. So parallel. I have y equals mx plus b. M is going to be 2. B is where it's crossing the, I lost my whole train of thought. B is where it's crossing the y-axis, right? So if I just need a line that's going to be the same, I can pick any line that will, any point rather, that will go through. So I can come through and say that I'm crossing, that's a really bad parallel line, and say that I'm crossing at 1. I could have said 2, I could have said 3, I could have said whatever, right? But as long as it's parallel and it's going through the y-axis. My perpendicular, though, is a little different. Perpen. So y equals mx plus b. And what I'm going to do is, my slope was 2. To start with, negative 1 over 2x. I want one that's perpendicular to it. So if I'm looking at the original blue line, not my parallel line, but my original blue line, what I want to be able to do is go through where it crosses at the y-axis. So I'm coming through right there with my perpendicular line. So my y-intercept here is going to be negative 1. Okay? Let's look at another one. Let me pull up Delta Math. Desmos is what I need. Y'all, I'm tired. All right. We need Desmos. Nope. Desmos. Not Classroom. Desmos. There we go. Oh, what have I done? Open Graphing Calculator. There we go. All right. So I'm using this equation right here. I don't know what I've done. Y'all, this is just not going the way that I want it to. There we go. All right. So I'm going to take this equation right here and put it into Desmos. So y equals 1 divided by 2, and I'm going to arrow over so that I'm out from underneath it, x plus 3. There's my line, right? I want to know which of these answer choices matches that, but notice these are in our standard form, ax plus by equals c, right? They're not in slope-intercept form. I don't necessarily need you to be able to move things around, but what I need you to be able to do is put it in Desmos and see if it matches. So y minus 2x equals negative 5. Does that match as a parallel line? No, it doesn't, right? So now I'm going to do the next one. So I know that's not it. X minus 2y, whoops, 2y equals 2. So I'm going to take the blue one off. Is that parallel to my red line? Yes, it is. So then that is my answer choice. So while in algebra we learned how to do standard form to slope intercept, I'm not asking you to do that. What I'm asking you to do is be able to use your resources and say, okay, this is what I have. All right? Okay, Pythagorean's theorem. I have a squared plus b squared equals c squared. My leg is 12 squared plus, I'm going to make that a capital B so it doesn't look like a 6. And my c is always going to be directly across from my right angle on the longest part. So that's going to be 18 squared. So let's take these off there. Do that. All right, so 12 squared is 144 plus b squared is equal to, so if I do 18, no, there we go, 18, no, stop. Y'all, 18 squared, I get 324. And I need to subtract 144 from it. So minus 144 to get b squared by itself. That gives me 180. To get b by itself, then my last step for these is going to be to square root it. So I'm going to square root 180. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Square root 180. Y'all, 180. There we go. And I get that b is 13.416. This says to the nearest tenth, so that's this value here. So my answer is going to be 13.4. All right. Let's look at a second one over here on the last page. All right. So I have a, oh, what did I do? There we go. All right, I have a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. My a, I'm going to leave this time so it doesn't look like a 6. 2 squared is equal to 4 squared. So a squared plus 4 is equal to 16. I'm going to move that 4 over. So a squared is equal to 12. And I need the square root of that. And you'll notice it says in simplest radical form. So I'm going to do my factors. So my factors, 3 times 4. You could do 2 times 6. It doesn't matter either way. 3 does not factor, but 4 does. I can't factor anything else. Everything is prime. 2 comes out. 3 stays in. And that's my answer. All right, last one. So notice it didn't write it out, right? So I have the hypotenuse of a right triangle. So I'm just going to draw my right triangle, label everything. Hypotenuse is going to be 16. I know it's there because it's across from my 90 degrees. And it says that one of the legs is 9, and we want to find the other one. Doesn't matter which one you label for legs, just as long as one of them is 9. So we have a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. So I have x squared plus 9 squared is equal to 16 squared. X squared plus 81. If I do 16 squared, I get 256. I'm going to subtract the 81. So I'm going to clear that. 256. Why is that not working so well? 5, 6, there we go. Minus 81 gives me 175. We're going to square root that. And we're going to the nearest tenth. So I'm going to square root 175. I get 13.228 to the nearest tenth, 13.2. So hopefully you remember doing these. I think it was 8th grade last time you did square rooting or Pythagorean's theorem and all that. Slope was just last year for those of you that took algebra last year. So it's been very recent. So hopefully we remember some of that. Again, we'll do some more examples in class, but make sure that you write these down so that you have them. All right.